What's up, you guys? Good afternoon. Happy Monday or what day is it? Happy
Friday,
Friday.
Friday.
Friday. TGIF, baby.
Yeah, we made it.
Oh, man. Postgame. What do you
Yeah.
say? What do you say? What do you say?
I say, Kev, I'm kind of glad we didn't go on last night right after the show like we normally do, an hour after the football game, because I would have said things that I probably regret the next day. So I'm kind of glad we did this. Like before last night's game was over, I started writing down words to describe this team, and it was trash, disappointing, disgusting, aggravating, pathetic, garbage. And these were the things I was going to rant about last night. But because the game ended late and we knew we weren't coming on, I had 20 hours to get in a Zen frame of mind and view it. Yeah, exactly. And view the game differently. Now, I know talking to you earlier, you have a little bit of a rant, right? Are you?
I settled down, but I have one thing to say.
Go ahead.
Going forward, I don't want to see Zach against Buffalo. I want to see Mike White.
Okay. Okay. I can't argue any of that. Before we get into little individuals like wanting to see Zach, I know I heard a few people say they're down on Mims. He had a couple of drops last night. I understand that, but don't forget Corey Davis has more drops than him. So
no, I think hey, how good is Morgan?
Yeah. Yeah, and listen, I'm not ready to give up on Mims either. I know he had a couple of costly drops last night, but my take on this as a whole, and we discussed this in episode 33. We were worried that when it comes to national TV, our team craps themselves.
Always.
And they proved it again last night.
Always.
And all I want to say to all the Jet fans out there, us included, when we play a game like last night and it pisses us off, this is why we become a laughingstock, and Buck and Troy are sitting there making jokes at us at our expense.
Mm-hmm.
And Mark Schlereth over the summer makes jokes at our expense. And whatever other Good Morning Football shows you watch, Get Up, Stand Up, Florio, whatever, this is why these guys make jokes at our expense. Because it's the same crap. It's the same crap.
I mean, and I listened to Saleh today, and he said they weren't laying back and this and that. Sure they were. That's how you scored 30 points. Come on, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I had a 42 to whatever lead, I'd sit back too.
Yeah. You see, and I tossed and turned with that and for 20 hours. If we went on last night after the Saleh press conference, I would have said, Saleh, are you crazy? Of course they laid back. They didn't play as up. But the more I thought about it and the more I watched the game, they did still have their starters in, Kev. Wentz was again. Like if they really thought this game was over, that at the end of the third quarter, halfway through, they could have took Wentz out and they should have still won the game.
And that's another thing. Come on. You start the game giving them an 88 drive, an 88-yard drive. Come on.
Yeah, I wrote it down. Here it is. Colts opening drive, 88 yards, 7 plays, 34-yard run by Hines, 8 plays. Yeah, disgusting. I know.
Yep. And I mean, my man there goes 8 plays, 75 yards with a 19-yard touchdown to Moore, responds on the second drive, and what happens? What happens?
You know what, Kev? Everyone killed us when we talk about this curse. You cannot be a Jet fan and not think there's some cloud over this. I mean, and isn't it?
And yeah, exactly. We finally get a tight end playing well.
Yeah.
All right. And what happens?
Yeah. Yeah, Kroft is the only tight end on this team, and I'm sorry, Coach Sala, and whether he knows the playbook again, Kroft is the only tight end on this team that's worth his salt to me. Bring up Yeboah. I understand Griffin played a little nice game last night, but I don't have to see him in West
You're
Coast
right.
anymore.
You're right. You're right.
Now, maybe they're better blockers than Kenny Yeboah. I don't know. I don't even know if Griffin ever made a good block, or what happened to the Wesco at the fullback scenario. I guess that went out the window. But if we're this young team and we want guys like Elijah Moore to get better every week, and last night was another good game. He's moving up the ladder.
Oh, he's coming. Yeah, he's coming on.
Carter's the beast, moving up that ladder. I understand Mims had drops, but the more he gets in there, the more passes come his way. He's probably going to climb that ladder. I have all the love in the world for our young cornerbacks and safeties. I can never get down on those kids, because when we talked 9 weeks ago, they were supposed to be our weak point, and our front seven was supposed to be tough and badass. And where
were they? Where were they last night?
That front four. If you ever want to look up the term "shit the bed," in the dictionary, front four of the Jets last night would be there. And listen, I'm jumping the gun here, but where did JFM disappear to after his big contract? Tell me I'm wrong, Jet fans.
Wentz was making sandwiches back there last night.
Oh my God. Tell me I'm wrong that John, whatever his name is, Franklin Myers, did not retire like I said that might happen when he signed a big deal. Where'd he go?
Yeah, horrible. I was messaging you all night telling you the defense is horrible. Where'd they go?
This Jet defense last night.
And they asked Sala about it, and he really had no answer.
Yeah. This Jet defense last night, 272 passing yards, 260 rushing yards, another 532 yards put up against them. And the third down efficiency was 5 for 10. They were 500, or 50%, however you want to look at it. 5 for 10 last night, the Colts.
And it very easily could have been another 50 burger point wise.
Yeah.
So
they scored. I believe I wrote it down somewhere. They scored on their first 6 drives, I believe, if I'm correct. 4 possessions, 4 touchdowns.
Yep.
I don't know if they scored. I thought they scored on their 5th drive as well, but maybe that was the half. Yeah.
So 4 possessions, you let a team get 28 points. You're not winning the game.
No, of course not. And Kevin, this was the 3rd most rushing yards the Jets have given up since 1990. The 3rd most, not even the most, which I guess is a saving grace. But Jesus, that one kid, what was his name? Jonathan Taylor, 18 carries, 172 yards, 2 TDs. 9.5 yards a carry, which means every time he touched the ball, it was a first down pretty much.
Unbelievable. I mean, what do you even, and you talk about the curse. Maye out for the year, okay? Yeah. Kroft out multiple weeks now with a lacerated lung.
Yeah. And you want to talk about, and listen, whether Jet fans think we're joking or some fans think we're serious, I don't know. I'm not saying there's a curse, but you have to believe there's something.
Don't tell me there's not a freaking cloud over this freaking
there's something
team.
Up there. Yeah, because here's the other thing, and this is not a knock on anyone, but Mike White gets hurt. We never really show what, forearm, fingers, numbness in the hand. He gets better. He gets feeling back. When? Halfway through the 4th quarter.
Yeah, of course.
And now Sala comes out and says that he's not going to name a starter because both guys will go head-to-head in practice in the next 10 days. So, I don't know. 7 penalties last night. 2 on special teams. Another one by Justin Hardy, who was supposed to be our special team dog, a guy that the players could look up to, and he was supposed to be this beast that we signed away from the Saints, and he had another penalty last night. He didn't know that once you're pushed outside, you can't run up the white line all the way and then jump back in. He didn't know. I knew that. I never played on his level.
I mean, how do you, as an offense, have 486 yards and you lose by 15 points?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Because your defense
Because-
defense let the Colts score on 7 of the 10 possessions. 7 of the 10 possessions.
Where were did you hear Bart Scott afterwards?
Oh, he was furious.
Adjustment. Whoa, can you adjust?
Yep. I agree, Kev. I'm just trying to find, I thought I had something here. Yeah, the Jets had 7 penalties for 43 yards. Now, it doesn't sound that bad, but when you see that the Colts only had 2 for 22, and one was a pass interference so late in the fourth quarter, it didn't mean anything by that point.
I mean, can you adjust to stop the damn run?
Yeah. And let me tell you, I don't know if I heard this right. And I understand they played Sunday. They had to travel. They didn't practice this week.
Really?
Yeah. I thought I heard there was no physical practice. I mean, what did they do on Tuesday? Speed up the process. I'm sorry. You go in on Monday, you get treatment, you watch film. Tuesday, you have a practice. Wednesday, short practice. You hop on a flight, and then Thursday's game day. I'm pretty sure I heard that.
Somebody said last night that when you're on a short week like that, you're pretty much using the same game plan.
Yeah, that's usually the case. Usually the case. And let me tell you something, Kevin.
Well, okay. Then can you adjust in game?
But you know what, Kevin? To just go back to what you said, they used the same game plan. The offense ran it again to perfection. Whether some people want to say, oh, it was in garbage time or whatever, I don't buy so much the garbage time because a lot of starters, if not all the starters, and Wentz were still in the game. So I don't buy the garbage time.
I mean, I'm not talking about so much about the offense. I'm talking about the defense. You can't adjust.
Yeah.
I mean,
and Saleh was supposed to be this defensive guru.
I mean, 260 yards.
Yeah, rushing. That's just rushing.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. You can't do something to stop that. I mean, I understand you're afraid he's going to kill you if you bring up a safety or something. I don't know.
And let me tell you, for the first time, and maybe I should rewatch the game, but for the first time, Mosley looked old. He didn't look quick. He didn't look crisp.
The whole defense looked that way.
Yeah.
And they're not old.
No.
You know?
We're the youngest team, one of the youngest teams, if not the youngest team in the league. You would have known last night.
I think you said to me early, you said defense looks slow and gassed.
Yeah, they played the whole game as if they were in quicksand. And I used this.
And that was in the first quarter.
Yeah. And I used this term to you. I don't know if it was last show or the show before. I said, they look like sometimes they're running. I think I said this more about the offense, but last night's defense, not only was it slow and running at quicksand, they were all wearing 75-pound weight vests and they couldn't move.
They were like 1 or 2 steps behind everything.
Yeah. It was almost
missed tackles, you know. I mean, guys for the Colts running wide open. There's nobody around them. What are you doing?
You know, I agree. I have a stat somewhere. I'm trying to find it.
When I say nobody around them, I mean there's nobody within 10 yards of them.
Well, see what you're saying? Here's how I'm going to follow that up, and then I'm going to give proof. I felt last night like the Jets, the defensive line got into their stance, Wentz called hike, handed it to the running back. He got past the offensive line, and then the offensive line woke up and said, oh, there he is. And then decided to – and to prove my point, as funny and as stupid people may think I sound,
Wait.
yeah. Oh, there he went. And as funny or as stupid as people think I may sound, listen to this. Jonathan Taylor last night had 127 rushing yards. That's 127 before contact. Before contact. So all night he got 127 before a Jet even laid a hand on him, which means this is why he was running for 9.5 yards a carry.
Defense played like that Bugs Bunny cartoon where they snort the ether and they're all and the scientists are going in slow motion.
Disgusting. And by the end of the first quarter, there should have been adjustments on the fly. You see what they were doing. You kind of saw that they weren't going to make Wentz do what he did against Tennessee and throw 52 times. They were going to run the rock as much as they can.
Yes.
And we did not make any adjustments to stop this team.
Nope. 260 yards.
Wow. How does a running back run for 127 yards total for the night and not get any contact? Of his 260 yards, 127 was with no contact. That means these holes were so goddamn wide.
Yeah.
And listen,
somebody said, did you hear somebody say last night? It might have been Aikman. He said, man, there's a lot of running backs sitting at home. Wish they had a hole like that to run through.
Yes, he did say that. Yes, he did say that. And listen, the Colts have a good offensive line. Kid you not.
But come on. Come on, man.
Yeah. Between the second and third quarter, the Jets gave up 35 points. We scored 9. We gave up 35 points between the second and the third quarter.
Well, I don't know. You got 9 days, 10 days now to get ready for Buffalo.
Yeah. Yeah.
And who's your starter? You don't know? Kevin? You don't know? You're telling the fan base you don't know who your starter is.
I think they're going to wait to see on Monday when Zach gets out there. Zach will probably start the game with the first string, and then they'll evaluate. He's not going to say anything to them. I think you go Mike White one more game. I think you go Mike, especially against Buffalo.
At home against Buffalo?
Yeah.
With the crowd. You know who the crowd wants.
And listen.
I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but you know who the crowd wants.
Well, and that's the reason why I think you play Mike White, because if you bring Zach in
and the first interception or the first boneheaded play, or the first dirt ball at somebody's feet when he could have walked in for a TD.
Yeah. I wouldn't start Zach this week, but that's me. But I don't know what this Jet team is going to do. I really don't know. And listen, I'm not saying Mike White is going to turn out to be a better quarterback than Zach. No one knows that for sure. But we have now seen 5 full quarters of Mike White, and he looks like a quarterback. I mean, before he got hurt last night, Kevin, he was 7 for 11 with 95 yards.
And a touchdown. 19-yarder or more. This kid picked up, everybody said, was he going to come out and look like a journeyman 5th round pick again? No, he picked up exactly where he left off.
Yeah. And the proof was in the second drive where myself thought Cinderella has come to take back the pumpkin. It's over. And I had egg on my face because he led that second drive. I believe they got a couple of third down conversions on that second drive as well. And
me and my brother were joking back and forth at the end of the second drive, saying, wow, he led. That was Brady-ish.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what, Kevin? It's over. We can't even talk about it, but and listen, the defense sucked. So there's nothing we could do. this is not a knock on Josh Johnson, but it took him a quarter to warm up and
Of
get
course,
his feet under
coming
him.
in
But then
cold
it
like
was
that.
too late. But I
Mhm.
wonder, as sucky as our defense was, would Mike White been able to keep trading touchdowns and keep us in the game, for a full 4 quarters instead of technically out by halfway through the third,
Yeah.
Well, the one thing I will say is that I take it back on on LaFleur. He might be he might turn out to be the real deal, because his play calling the last 2 weeks was great in my eyes.
And, to revisit what we said on Saturday or whatever day it was, how stupid is the Flacco move now?
Yeah. But this is what I said to you.
Did you panic?
Yeah.
What did you do? I mean, I understand maybe you want to vet in okay, the guys won a Super Bowl. I understand that, but.
Well, if you remember, I said to you, and we talked about this. Yes, we're guilty of saying we wanted a vet in here for the young Zach Wilson. But again, we wanted that in June, in July, not in week 6 and giving up a 6th-round pick. But we also said that in preseason, and yes, we said preseason, we get it. We thought Josh Johnson and Mike White looked good. When they came in for Zach and ran the offense, we said it, Kev. And we can't be the only ones who felt this way in Jetland. We thought, all right, these two guys could run this offense. If Zach ever got hurt or something, we felt confident. And last night proved it again.
When I went to the green and white scrimmage in August at the stadium, I fell in love with Mike White.
You did.
I mean,
and I asked you, and I
just
said,
watching the mechanics on the field of the three of them, the presence, this and that, you could see it.
But Kevin, I've been saying this to you since week 1. You signed Josh Johnson. He's on the practice squad. First of all, why do we always go into the regular games with 2 quarterbacks and not 3? Last night, if Josh Johnson got hurt,
then what?
Crowder would have been
Crowder. I was going to say Crowder. Yeah,
because I believe Crowder has experience, at least in high school or college, doing that. He would have. Can you imagine a wide receiver having to play our 3rd-string quarterback, and God forbid he got hurt? So I've been saying, why isn't Josh Johnson elevated from day 1 behind Mike White? And didn't they see enough in preseason to say, you know what? We don't care what the fans are screaming about. We have enough faith in White and Johnson. We'll get this done. Because now you got Flacco here taking up a spot, and he's probably never going to see the field.
I mean, I'm becoming one of those. I know, gonna get jumped on this and that, but I'm becoming one of those guys in the locker room that says, I want to follow this guy. Meaning White.
Yeah. Listen, you're allowed to have your feelings, your takes. We've been doing this show now for 33 weeks. I never said to you, oh, Kevin, you're crazy. You don't know what you're talking about. It's your take.
And that's not to say Zach's not just as good, if not.
Agree.
But
it's okay to sit back and listen. Kevin, we watch every Jet game, and the announcers the last 2 weeks kept saying it. It's okay. If people watch enough of these sports talk, especially in the New York market, like especially SNY, you hear them say it. It's okay, a la Chad Pennington, a la Aaron Rodgers. It's okay. It's okay.
Mahomes.
Yeah.
Sappy, sat behind Smith.
Yeah.
So.
I don't understand why we want to rush the kid. Whatever.
And I mean,
someday
he may turn out to be a better quarterback.
Yeah. And listen, Kevin,
by light years, but right now he's not.
Yeah. But Kevin, for all we know, and it's too soon to tell, these 2 weeks sitting out might have gave him a world of good.
Mhm. Maybe
But
watch what the game can slow down.
yeah,
You can
yeah,
play it slow and methodical.
yeah. I'm just not ready to throw him into Buffalo because I think Buffalo, whoever is our quarterback, Buffalo is going to pull their ears back for the first quarter and say,
And
"Show us what you got, kid."
and especially not at home.
Yeah,
Not at
yeah.
home.
But Kevin, we're terrible on the road.
Because if White's wrist and everything, his forearm is healthy,
Mhm.
and you start Zach, and something disastrous
Yeah,
happens, and I'm saying that for the good of Zach,
yeah. No, I know.
because you're going to start the how that crowd is.
Oh yeah.
I sat, I was that crowd.
No,
I
I
know I
understand.
know how that crowd is.
No,
I
I
am that
understand.
crowd.
Oh yeah, no, I get it. Listen, listen. I may not go to as many games as you do, but I live in the area. I know a lot of Jet fans. I read my local papers. I know what the fan base is thinking, how angry they are, and how optimistic they are, and how this they are, and what that blah blah. I know it all. I know it all. I fall in that with all that. I know how we feel.
I mean, one time we played the Chargers, I was there. We got spanked. Spanked. I mean, it was one of the worst games ever. I don't even remember who the damn quarterback was. And they're coming in the tunnel, and I was sitting right there, and I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, and profanities are coming out of my mouth. And here comes security. I swear. So saying, can't scream at the Chargers like that. Who's screaming at the Chargers? I'm screaming at the Jets.
Yeah, this team never. And listen, Kevin, we're a passionate fan base. For a team has given us nothing for 12 years. The fact that we're this loyal and this passionate, and and fans still go to the game, and I don't know how many MetLife holds, if they're selling out or what, but whatever. Enough people go and enough of us watch, and we buy the gear and we wear the shirts, and then we have to sit down to what we saw last night. This is why kids who are 13, between 10 and 13, don't root for this team, because there's nothing to root for.
And we called, and we kind of called. I mean, I said, this is the game. Last night, I said, this is the game.
Yeah.
This is that game that we've seen a million times, where you're all pumped up from the week before, and you're all freaking pumped up going into it, and you get the kick in the nut game.
This is twice this year alone. We were on, and it wasn't prime time, but we were the only London game that Sunday. And for 30 minutes, we did not show up. We did not play at all. And we lost on national TV, so the world could see what the Jet football team looks like. And then last night, with everybody home, football players, everyone, dinner's done, everyone.
Yeah, yes.
And you got smoked for 532 yards. Smoked.
Again.
Yeah. And then we wonder why, and we cry when the schedule comes out, and we say, oh, we only got one primetime game. We don't deserve any primetime game, because we look like putzes when we play in primetime.
And look at the last 3 weeks. How many points have people put up on the defense?
Yeah.
Incredible.
Well, New England, 50.
Right.
50.
Cincinnati.
31,
right. And 45 last night.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. And we said it, Kevin, because we were, and you and I probably included, we were worried about our young backs. And we said the only way our young cornerbacks and safeties will survive if that pass rush is as good as we thought it would be. And when that pass rush can't get through the line, our middle linebackers and our safeties and cornerbacks look like blah. And they showed it last night.
How do you not show up?
Yeah.
I mean, I know they get paid too, but how do you not show up?
Yeah. I would have preferred to lose 45-42 in a nail biter than lose the way we did. And don't let the score fool you. That's what I said to my boy when he woke up and he said, "Oh, Dad, it was close." I said,
No, it
"No,
wasn't.
son, it was over by half.
Right.
It was over by half."
We messaged each other like
Yeah.
right at halftime and said,
Yeah.
game's over by the half.
Yeah. It's what we didn't want, and that's what we got. Well,
incredible. Well,
you know, Kev, I hate to cut this short, but there's really no more to say. Like, we're gonna keep
No.
just throwing dirt on this team. We got 10 days off. We'll
Yep.
be back next Saturday to talk about the Jets Buffalo game, and we'll see where it goes. But every time we think we see a little light, a little, I don't know. And
it was funny. It was funny last night when White got hurt and he's out on the sideline, and they said, and they showed the play in slow motion. His wrist was freaking flapping like, holy crap. I said, oh my God, it looks like he busted it.
I know. But you know, I feel like these networks try to set our team up for failure. Like the time they caught Sam saying about the ghost, you know, and then they show Mike White on the sideline and he tries to throw the ball. And I don't know if you noticed, the first attempt, the ball just hit the mud ball. Like it just fell, you know, and he shook it off and he looked pissed. And I'm thinking, why are you putting this man on TV? Like, what are you trying to do? Humiliate him? Because all week, Jet fans in New York were talking high about this one guy. So you're
trying to say, oh, look, he's done. He's done. Ha 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 ha! Jet fans,
look
he's
how
done.
It just fell out of his hand. Like you have to show that. But whatever, that's just me because I'm tired of my team being a laughing stock. Now listen, they don't do anything to
help that.
Yeah, but anyway. And I'll just end on this note because I don't want it to be totally negative.
Right.
I think the offense now, the last 2 weeks, is the offense we dreamed about.
Yeah, looks good.
Like Kevin, before the game started, if I said to you, Kev, this team's scoring 31 points tonight, you said to yourself, then we won the game.
You would think.
Yeah. So I have, and for these last 2 weeks, I guess you could call me a hypocrite because 3 weeks ago I was so angry. I'm a LaFleur guy now. He's winning me over. Stay in that press box, kiddo. Be the eye in the sky and look to see how this, because the last two quarterbacks moved this offense well enough. Let's see. Here's the thing,
you know what? That leads me to ask a big question.
Go ahead.
If the last two quarterbacks moved this offense, why didn't the first one do it?
Good question. Good question. But I'm going to take more of the positive approach and say maybe Salah, maybe
I mean, and I'm not talking. Okay, the Tennessee game. Okay, right. Okay, flashy. Okay, I understand. Why didn't the first quarterback move the offense like the last two?
Well, the only thing I could think of, Kevin, I've said this from day one. I'm not an X's and O's guy, and I don't believe it's two different game plans. I think the problem is that Zach has happy feet right now. He thinks he got to run out of the box.
Needs to watch, absorb.
Yeah, stay in that pocket. The pocket. You know what? We ripped Greg Van Roten, and he deserves it. But the last 2 weeks, it was a nice tight pocket. Mike White was sacked what? How many times in the 5 quarters? I think twice. In the 5 quarters he played, I think he was. And Josh Johnson last night was sacked twice as well. But I'm saying, these guys look comfortable in the pocket. When your quarterback is constant, as soon as he gets the ball, thinks he's at BYU and he's got to run 50 yards one side, 50. You can't form a pocket. So, of course, and listen, I'm not saying the offensive line is not supposed to take blame with some of those, but Zach, trust what you're seeing. Trust the play to develop, Trust the play to develop.
Trust the guys around you.
Yeah. Whatever happens next week, Kevin, whether it's Mike White or it's Zach Wilson, if it is Zach Wilson, I don't care if we lose, but let's just be again, I keep saying this nonsense. Be competitive, Zach. Look what your other buddies, your quarterbacks buddies did. They show that this offense is a good offense. It can move the ball. Have trust in it. Have faith in your checkdowns. Let your players catch the ball and make plays for you. You don't have to be, home run hit, a 50-yard bomb, ESPN highlights. You know what? It's okay to be a check down Charlie.
It's about winning the game.
Yeah. It's okay to be a check down Charlie,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, brother. That's it for me.
Nothing else to say.
I mean, what else can we say? This is like therapy. We could sit here all night and tell you about the holes on this team. You know what? Again, I think the offense played well enough to win a game. The defense crapped themselves.
Hey, you scored 30 points on the road. You should come home with a W.
Yeah. Here's my last question for the night, and you don't have to answer it tonight. You could think about it. We could pick it up next week. If we go to Buffalo, let's say, or Buffalo comes here and we play, our offense puts 31 points on the board, but our defense again shits the bed and gives them 42. Does that locker room slowly start to show cracks on how the offense, the defense, like what's going on here? Like, we're scoring points, guys. Let's stop somebody. Is they're gonna?
Hey, it's funny you say that, because how many times has that happened here, but the other way around?
Yeah.
The defense is always playing well, and it's the offense that always crap the bed. Okay. So it should be interesting. And again, I think a lot depends on who starts the game.
Okay. I'm not going to argue with you on that. I'm just hoping that if it is Zach, he's learned from watching how this offense could be run. Let's face it, Kev. I shouldn't say that. I was just saying, in the grand scheme of things, Zach is probably the better quarterback, even over White, even over Johnson. But you wouldn't know it right now. So Zach's got to sit there for the last 2 weeks and say,
Well, that's why That's what I said. He may be one day, but right now he's not.
Yeah. Well, we're going to learn that. We're going to learn what happens on next Sunday. So we're going to learn. We're going to learn as practice goes on this week, who's going to be the starter, who's going to be taking most reps. So it'll be an interesting week in Jet Nation.
I want whatever guy is going to take us to where we want to go and win games. And right now, in my opinion, that's Mike White.
Yeah, you're probably right. I'm not going to argue with you on that. But there's a little part of me that says, wow, can you imagine this offense if Zach could run it the way White runs it?
It doesn't matter. It could be you.
No, I know.
Win games and score touchdowns.
Yeah.
And take us to where we want to go. I mean, we know it's not going to happen this year now. At 1-2, what are we?
I only heard one person. I only heard one person bring this up, and the thought never crossed my mind. Someone said, could Zach Wilson be the next Ryan Leaf? And my face just did that because I never thought of that.
Well, the same way you say, could Mike White
be the next
Tom Brady?
Yeah.
Came out of the 5th round.
Mike White, you mean, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I know.
That's
what I said to you. And whether people wanted to take it as silly talk, no one knew what Brady was going to become. No one knew what Montana was going to become. They were 6th-round picks.
Yeah.
So we shall see. The saga will continue next week.
Sometimes, what's the saying? Sometimes you find a diamond in the rough or a needle in the haystack, or
there's those expressions, right? Heart of a lion. Big balls, some players play with the heart of a lion and big balls, and some players play like, well, this is easy. I've been doing this all my life. But then when you get to the pros, it's a new experience. And, again, like I said, Kevin, we could sit here all night, go back and forth with our tapes. And, you know what?
Here's something. Why don't you guys give us yours down at the bottom here?
Yeah. All I asked for, Kevin, this year was competitive football. 3.5 hours of competitive football. And this year we only got that twice.
Yep. So far.
Maybe someone to count the Falcons game because we had that last drive. If our defense would have stopped them, we get the ball back. But,
Yeah, but you got to stop these comebacks. Can you just dominate a game?
Yeah, get off the field on third down every now and again. That will help.
And I mean, you always these valiant comebacks. The same thing happens all the time. You run out of time. You come up short.
Fall short. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
All right, brother.
All right.
That's it from us. Yeah.
Have a great rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the games this weekend. Good college games, good NFL games. And we'll talk to you next week. All right?
Yes.
Sounds good. All right, everybody. Have a good weekend. And jet up. Talk to you later.
All right.